Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to our showcase implementing Clio's latest features. And before we get rolling, I'd like to give a big shout out to our visionary partners who are joining us this year. If you haven't had a chance yet to swing by their booth, introduce yourself, say hello, please do so because they've got some wonderful things to talk to you about. And I'm going to go say hi to them as well. And speaking of me, my name is Rob Favel and I'm a customer success manager here at Clio. And I'm not alone. I have a whole team of Clions here with me waiting on hot standby to come up on stage to talk about Clio's latest features. Starting with Ryan. He's going to talk to us about Grow and local service ads. And by the way, Ryan also happens to be my director, but today he reports to me. If that's okay with you, Ryan. Okay, good. Okay. Good news, I'm still employed. Ryan is going to be followed by Logan, and he's going to talk to us about some updates with matters and contacts. And then next we have Elida. She's going to show us the latest technology in Laya, Clio's advanced documenting solution. Then we have Elena. She's going to show us some neat new tricks in our mobile app. And one of those new tricks happens to be my favorite, but no spoilers. And then we have Lillian. She's going to show us some excellent PR, payments and reporting. Now, before we go ahead and get the show on the road, I'd like to share a couple things with you. First, on the customer success management team, we have a motto. Success is our middle name. And today, we define success as everyone here getting to go home with some great ideas on implementing Clio's latest features. The other thing I'd like to share with you is something more on a personal note. This month, I am celebrating my second Clioversary. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's 2 years at Clio. It went by so fast. And I have to say how impressed I am with how well they keep us well informed of Clio's new features so we can share it with anyone at any time. Quite often during my customer calls on Zoom, for example, I might say, hey, did you hear about this new feature or that new feature? And sometimes, my customers will look at me and say, no way. And on behalf of Clio, I get to look at them and say, way. It's always a lot of fun. I love it every time. Now that brings us actually to our first poll of the afternoon. Please scan this QR code and let us know, how do you most often hear about Clio's latest features? If you can't quite scan it, no problem, or if you're going to sit back and take it all in, the options are 1, email newsletter, 2, in-app notification, 3, you've heard it from a Clion. Maybe you were talking to support, or maybe you were in one of my Zoom calls, who knows? And option number 4, I heard it on the grapevine. Yes, just like the song. And that could be anything. Maybe you heard it from a coworker, or maybe you heard it from your Uber driver last week. You never know. All right, let's have a look at these results. All right, so let me see. So number 1 is in-app notifications. That's fantastic. Okay, followed by email newsletter. And yes, I heard it from the grapevine. All right, that's fantastic. Okay, and on that note, I'm going to exercise my authority and welcome Ryan to the stage. Ryan, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, boss. Appreciate the warm introduction. As Rob mentioned, my name's Ryan Lister. I'm the Senior Director of Customer Enablement here at Clio. So what my job is, I get to work with a wonderful group of folks just like Rob, maybe not on the same level as puns as Rob. He's a bit on his own class there. But the team that I get to work with is super excited about waking up every day and thinking about how can we bring more value to you with our products. So that's my job. That's why I'm actually really excited for the one time in a year where I get to do that live in person with you all at ClioCon. So what I get to talk to you today about is how you can amplify your firm with Clio Grow. Right, so we're talking about amplifying your impact here a lot today. And what I get to talk to you about is Clio Grow specifically. So Rob talked about hearing it through the grapevine. Great way to grow your firm, right? You want that positive word of mouth out there. And that positive word of mouth comes from the client experiences that you deliver on a day-to-day basis. And that starts right at the very top of the funnel before they probably even know that you exist. And that's why we get to talk about a whole bunch of exciting new stuff coming today in Clio Grow. So the features I'm going to talk to you today about are Google integrations, workflow automations, text messaging, and shared contacts. Okay, so I got a question for you all. Who has some degree of responsibility for generating new business for your firm? Some degree. That's a lot of hands if you look around. And then that tracks, right? We see that actually about 87% of firms are interested in growing. 13% just fine. But the 87% really interested in growing their firms. So the next question is, who has a background in marketing of some official way? Okay, if you look around and see those hands, those are hands you're going to want to shake later and introduce yourself and ask some questions about how you can help grow your firm. So it's really interesting. There's definitely a discrepancy between the level of legal experience and marketing experience, which makes a lot of sense, right? And we actually find that firms spend about 33% of their time on marketing activities, even though there's an expertise differential between those kind of services. So that's what we're really excited about at Clio, is to help fill that gap. So this is going to be a bit of marketing 101 for the folks that had your hands up the second time around. Apologies for that. But this is your typical marketing funnel, right? So you think about awareness. So I want you to all think about that ideal customer that you want to work with. They're not a customer just yet. They're a prospect. You think about where they are. The first step of that funnel is they need to know you exist, right? That's awareness. They need to express some degree of interest. Is there a service potentially that you offer that I'm going to be interested in engaging with? Right, so they need to know you exist, they need to get some initial interest, and then they start to go to the dance, right? A lot of the services that you offer can come at a time of, challenge for your clients. There's a lot of emotional weight that can come with deciding, should this be the firm that I'm actually going to work with? Those are a really important part of that funnel. And though we deal with a lot of intake, there's a lot of emotional kind of consideration that goes along assessing with, who am I going to partner for this really important moment in my life? So, while that goes well, success, you've got a converted customer. And what I'm excited about today is we're launching new things in Clio Grow that help with every single step of this funnel, which is super cool. So first, when it comes to awareness, I want you to think about that imaginary prospect in your mind. Where are they? Where do you think they are right now? What are they doing? Are they on the side of an interstate highway? Probably not, right? But this is where a lot of that advertising happens. And admittedly, some of them are kind of amazing. I love use hurt. Pretty on the nose. If I was hurt, that's where I would go. Or we have a billboard. We're kind of a big deal. That's great. If anybody who owns these is here, I'd love to meet you afterwards. You sound like a lot of fun. But this ultimately is probably not where your prospects are looking for the legal services that they want to engage. Where they are is Google. That's why we're so happy to announce the launch of Google Local Services Ads. Your prospects are looking for specific legal services near them, right? And that's what Google Local Services Ads brings to you today. So with Google Local Services Ads, you actually show up on the top of that Google search. What I really like about this is it's the little boxes that show up in the top of Google search, as opposed to the in-depth write-ups that you see a little bit lower down the page, and actually makes it feel less like an ad that we're used to seeing. It feels like a list of helpful businesses that are ready to help you out. You actually get really high quality leads here because you only show up when people are looking for your practice area in your area. And so that means that the leads that come through are a lot more likely to convert. And you get direct control over your budget. How much you actually want to spend? Is this working? Do I want to adjust that budget? And what's really cool about this as well is you only pay for actual leads, not clicks, right? So a lot of marketing products out there, as soon as you click, that's going to cost you money. What happens here is you only pay when that becomes a real lead for you. So our team spent a lot of time thinking about that. We have a lot of marketing experts at Clio that has worked in this area for years and years. We spent a lot of time thinking about what is the right product for us to integrate with. And this is, for a lot of these reasons, that's why we decided to partner with Google and the local services ads specifically. So through our pilot, we worked with Christy Grenieri and a whole bunch of other clients to understand, what works, what doesn't. And we actually found, for Christy, she had to go out and hire a whole new attorney to deal with the new volume that was coming in. That's pretty impressive for those folks that had their hand up for interest and growth. So it really works. So what's cool about this as well is, the digital marketing sphere can be kind of complicated to think about dipping your toes into, but we help throughout this process. So we help guide you through that entire setup every step of the way. You do need a Google business account, but other than that, we'll walk you through each step of what's necessary. And what's also very cool is that we help you determine your budget. How much should you spend? Who here would have any idea how much they would want to spend or need to spend to show up on the top of Google local services ads? One hand. Awesome. A couple hands. Cool. So that's what we can help with, right? Because it actually changes depending where you are, where your practice area is, because it's based off of how competitive that specific ad space is. And we help you through that process because we know those things. And we're able to confirm what's it actually going to cost you to show up in the place that you want to be so that you can spend the right amount, but not too much to get those leads. And as those leads start to come in, you're able to see this return, which is great. Is that money that I'm spending actually generating me revenue? And across the top of this matter, or bottom of the matter dashboard, you can see how much did I spend? And then what's the estimated value for those matters that are actually going to land in my inbox? So you can keep a real close eye on it. So you can test it out and you can start to see for yourself, how much am I spending and what is that actually bringing me? So it starts to feel pretty cool, right? The other really neat part about this is that we help you through the process of understanding how are your leads moving through your funnel. So at the top end of this, we can see how many untriaged leads do you have. And you can all probably see, although it's a little small, a red 12. Red usually means you probably should pay attention to something over there, right? And we actually help you out through this process, and we'll give you a gentle nudge to say, hey, don't forget about me, your untriaged leads, right? Because we know that 79% of consumers expect a response within 24 hours. Right? And so as we're seeing potential areas for you to be a little bit more attuned to this funnel to be able to be effective for you, we'll give you that nice, gentle reminder. We'll also help out as you're starting to get through this triaging process. If you find that you're rejecting a lot of leads, so that's actually something you can do. You can say, you know what, this actually doesn't look like the right fit lead. So if we're starting to see that, we'll catch that and say, you're rejecting more than we would expect. Let's get you back over to adjust your campaign so you get the right settings, so you get the quality of leads that are going to actually help you out. So we're super excited about the capabilities that this is going to be able to bring for each of you. So a quick recap. We're going to think about our billboard advertising versus Google local services ads. Where is the location of that billboard? It's about 30 meters, 10 meters, 5 meters, and then probably in your rear view mirror pretty quickly. Google local services ads is in the hands of your prospects, probably actually right now. Right? As far as actionability, that billboard, if you want to write down that number, you might create a new personal injury case as folks swerve off the road to write down that number. Probably not the case you want, but that may be part of that process. So could it work? Maybe. Is it the best way? Probably not. Right? With Google local services ads, that lands directly in your lead inbox. So that's great. Your prospect is now aware of you. They are in your lead inbox. But it's also really important to remember as they enter this early stages of evaluation that your competitor is only one mouse click away. Right? So it just takes one mouse click to go down to somebody else's lead box. And depending on how quickly they get back to you, they may wind up in the hands of your competitor. So that's why as we're getting into the interest phase, we're really excited to be able to share Grow automated workflows. So there's two big kind of buckets of value here. One is makes your life a lot easier, right? So there's a lot less overhead that you need to spend looking at what is the individual step of each process of my funnel. And then two, it makes sure your clients don't fall through the cracks, right? As you get caught up in all of the other activities that you have to manage day to day, it's really easy to drop that one specific email you were supposed to send before your competitor gets there. So with automated workflows, you can use templates or then edit them to create your own workflows. So we've got some out-of-the-box templates for the most common intake processes. And these workflows automatically trigger that next step, which is really cool, right? So as soon as your intake form goes out, you can trigger that next email that needs to go out. You can trigger that next contract to go out that needs to be signed. The great part about this is as those things move through each step of the funnel, it'll actually keep you updated as well, right? So you can see the status of where each one of those workflows is at, and you can see the status in your overall funnel. So though you don't need to be in there as often, you can be assured that the funnel is moving along, and that as you check into that funnel, you can get the visibility you need to understand where do I actually need to intervene, as opposed to look at all of the places that I need to intervene. So the next, communication. We're starting to get through this interest phase around, is this somebody that I want to be able to work with? So you see this inbox count here of 6,000 unread emails, probably a few feelings in the room, right? Some shudder saying, how could you ever have 6,000 emails? And there's probably at least one that looks at that and thinks, those are amateur numbers, right? But admittedly, inboxes are really hard to manage these days. And though this may not be your inbox, it may actually be your prospect's inbox, right? And so as you're thinking about that communication, how are you going to be seen here? And one of the most powerful tools we're really excited about is you don't have to communicate just via email. That's as we're launching Grow text messaging. So this is a stat you'll probably see a couple of times, but it's really important to remember is 87% of text messages are opened within 1 hour. That's crazy, right? I challenge anyone to bring me someone who opens every single email they get within the first hour. I'd like to learn whatever magic that person has. So with Grow text messaging, what's really powerful about this is it's not just a text to say like, hey, go look at your email. Your prospect can actually complete the most important actions right in the palm of their hand. So we can send intake forms that can be opened via mobile and completed. And you can also send requests for signatures to be signed and completed via mobile. Importantly, you can also send reminders, right? So with that 87% of folks opening within an hour, you can help reduce the amount of no-shows for your intake appointments because you're able to remind them, hey, don't forget about me. Don't forget about that appointment that you booked. Or as you're sending forms, right? So we send a form once, we don't get it filled out, we can start to send reminders in the place that they're actually going to be. This is a cool stat as well. As we've launched this product, we've actually found that compared to email, text messaging has a 71% higher same-day completion rate of forms that are actually sent. So if you think about securing business quickly and in a place that your clients are actually living, this is a really, really powerful tool. What's awesome is it's easy, right? So you'd use the same number as you have for text messaging in Essentials, in Clio Manage. If you don't use text messaging in Clio Manage, that's an important an additional set of capabilities to definitely look into. But it uses that same number. It's super easy to set up these templates and edit the templates to make it sound like your voice. And it's as simple as when you're sending a form, click the little option at the bottom and it sends out via text messaging. So this is really powerful. So you start to think about the power capability of automated processes to generate leads landing in your inbox from Google Local Services ads, to workflows that are triggering each individual step and communicating where your client will be with your voice, right? That starts to sound like somebody your prospects don't want to work with. Something that is responsive, that is able to communicate them with a clear set of next steps and requirements. And it's a really, really powerful set of tools. So we're so excited to be able to share this with you today. So great news, your prospect is now a customer and they're ready to be worked with out of Clio Manage. That's why I wanted to share one last really exciting rollout, which is shared contacts between Grow and Manage. This is super powerful and exciting for kind of two big reasons for me. One, I'm a bit of a data nerd, as you've seen by the amount of stats I've randomly interspersed through this presentation. So I just love clean data, right? It's so impactful to have accurate and clean data across systems. But two, the customer success side of me is this is just easy, right? It means that as your prospects move through Grow, their information is going to be consistent with Manage every single step of the way. So if you've got your intake team and your legal team, they're looking at the same things, right? Or if that's just you, you're looking at the same thing. So I'm super excited about this and congratulations for your new prospect that is an official customer with you at Clio. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Logan to talk a little bit about managing that matter in Clio Manage.
Good. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks, Ryan, and thank Rob for the intro as well. Hope everyone's doing well here today. Once again, my name is Logan. I work as an account executive here at Clio with our mid to large size law firms. And I'm super excited to be with you all here today to talk about some super exciting new product enhancements from within Clio Manage. So as Ryan discussed, to grow is a super powerful tool. There's a lot of awesome releases that we've talked about here today. We can walk our clients through intake and retain them afterwards. We're going to pivot over into Clio Manage, where the bulk of in-flight matter management takes place. We have some really exciting product releases to walk you all through today. They pertain to matter stages, matter templating, contact management enhancements, as well as permission setting enhancements. Now, as mentioned, I'm fortunate as part of my role here at Clio to help firms evaluate and implement these types of functions, and I'm super happy to do it with you all here today as well. So, in a nutshell, people like yourselves are choosing to utilize a program like Clio for added efficiency, centralization, and streamlined workflows. These product enhancements from within Clio Manage are going to make it even easier for us to give you time back during your day to focus on the things that matter most. So the quick show of hands, how many of you find yourself stopping to ask yourselves during your day, where am I at with XYZ, any which matter during your day? Does that question ever come up? Okay, yeah, quite a few of you. How many of you resonate with maybe not having the best visibility into where you're at holistically with all of your open matters? Okay. Herein lies the real value in what we'll be talking about next, which is matter stages. To provide you all with a quick example on what the problem we're solving here might look like in real time. So I work with a good number of law firms on how we can help streamline their workflows, and anyone who really practices in any area of law knows just how hectic your day-to-day can be and often is. And so when I jump on a quick call to better understand where we can step in and help, really common feedback I'm receiving is, we feel super overwhelmed. We're really not in the clear on where we're at with our various different open matters. And we just don't have a real good idea as to where we're at. This obviously can cause some operational inefficiencies. We're not following up with clients in a timely fashion. Ryan had touched on in his presentation. I think it was upwards of 80% of clients are expecting a response within 24 hours. That's exactly why matter stages are now available within Clio Manage. So this powerful tool enhances visibility and oversight while preparing your firm for seamless collaboration throughout the client lifecycle. Matter staging in specific is going to allow you to do things like gain visibility and track cases at a glance. You can focus on what matters at your firm, and you're able to manage your caseloads more efficiently. Now, the main reason behind why you might consider leveraging this type of functionality is because, as we've established, the need for us to have this type of visibility into where we're at with our clientele, with our caseload, is critical to running an effective practice. The way that you'll use this in practice is you can see under the matter details section of you opening up a new matter on any one of these screens. It's first going to ask you to identify a practice area, and then to the right of the column, it's going to default by selecting the first stage underneath that practice area that you have selected. From there's two primary ways on how you can then use that stage as a point of reference. One, as you see on the left there, underneath the details section of a matter, we have a field underneath the practice area that tells the user where we're at with our case. So for a more firm-wide holistic overview, you're also able to navigate to matters on the left-hand side of the screen there. Click on the Stages sub-tab, and it's going to give you an overview of the matter that's grouped underneath each practice area subtype, where we can do things like drag and drop in quick order, filter by keyword, etc. Next up, and probably the feature that I'm most excited to talk about personally, is matter templating. Clio now offers users the ability to preset fields for billing, custom field data, and so on. And so we'll do another quick poll here. Raise your hands if you're already doing this today. You open up maybe a repetitive case type, you're setting custom field sets, specific billing information for cases you may be doing repetitively. Okay, it's not surprising. It's super common for us to have some repetitiveness in this area naturally. which is exactly why we've released Matter templating here. And so I like to go back to real world examples because people like all of you can in many cases, and as we've just seen via the poll there, where we've historically seen a lack of efficiency is not just a matter management or visibility into where we're at with our open matters. A lot of times it's the creation of all of the things that go into formulating that matter, such as custom fields, billing data, document folder structures perhaps, and so on. Next, we have some enhancements to the way that you manage your contacts within Clio. And first up here, we have contact matter associations. These updates will allow us to swiftly identify if a contact is linked to a matter via custom fields or related contacts, even when they're not the primary client. We can do things like swiftly identify if that contact is linked, instantly grasp the role that the client is playing in question to whatever the matter is concerning. And we also have the ability to view up to 20 associated matters all at the same time. So let's say you, the attorney, have a personal injury matter. Client walks in and you're walking him through the generic intake process that you're walking through. The real use case here is you're going to be doing some sort of conflict check. In most cases, you want to understand the role that this person played in a case that you may have handled previously. So you're now able to simply go through contacts to see if that person has served as an expert witness before, if they've been a client of yours previously, and so on. This can also pertain to things like if you're automating a lot of documents in Clio Manage. So quick show of hands, who is automating documents on a weekly, daily basis? Very interesting. Okay, yeah. So now what we can do are things like we can set up merge fields on a document to actually select various different contacts from a dropdown. Previous solution for that was we're generating multiple documents, perhaps the same document with different contacts pulled in. With this new enhancement, we're able to actually drop down the list of all relevant contacts and set up multiple contacts per that merge field. We'll talk more about document automation. My colleague Elida will cover it in a bit here, but that's part of the enhancement. We also offer contact quick view, as you can see here. So when you're viewing your contacts, you can do things like hover over that little icon there, as you can see, little magnifying glass. That's going to essentially give you a preview of the client's contact information, phone number, email, address, recent client matters are associated with, and so on. Of course, the benefit here is simplified data transfer. You're working on a document. You need to copy and paste that information over to somewhere else that it may be needed. We can accelerate our case progress through that added level of efficiency. And we're also enhancing our client interactions when we're dealing with people previously, again, having to find the contact, click into the contact card. We've made it a bit more seamless with Contact Quick View. Next up, we have some enhancements to permission setting within Clio Manage here. And there's a couple of different pieces to this. Number one is you have control over who has access to what. So again, real world example, if you're dealing at a firm that has a multitude of different practice areas, we may not want our civil litigators to have access to our personal injury matters, and so on. We can eliminate the need for bespoke user groups. In other words, we can assign individual users or user groups that we will predefine within Clio when we're opening up a new matter. And you now have the ability as well to bulk update permissions. We've done this by enabling things like flexible matter permission setting when you're opening up a new matter. And so again, an example of this is you as the lawyer have a client that walks into your law office. We're opening up a new matter. It's an estate planning matter. We have two users, Logan Day, myself, Cameron John, the fictitious legal assistant, who has eyes onto this matter. Nobody else essentially is getting confused with what this is. Let's say that you see a use case for this, but you have 300 open matters, or maybe even perhaps more than that. What we can also do is if we click on matters on the left-hand side of our screen, we can bulk select any number of them, whether it's 50, 100, 200, however many you want, and we can bulk update those permissions in total there. So I've done quite a bit of talking here, and I've covered a lot in a short amount of time here. Quick show of hands, how many of you see a use case for what we've talked about here today, just those 4 product enhancements? Okay, good. Glad to see that. Thanks again so much for stopping by to participate in this workshop here. My colleague Elida will now go over some document automation specific enhancements. And of course, stop by the product lab with any questions, concerns after this. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Elida Vanden Bosch and I'm a senior product manager on the Clio documents team. I hope everyone's having a great time at ClioCon, and today I'll be talking about Clio's enhanced or advanced document automation with Laya. Some of our recent enhancements this year have been able to make the drafting process more efficient and simple by adding more context. But first, I'd like to see a show of hands. How many of you are familiar with our Laya product? Great. And by the end of the session, most of you will get to know a little bit more about the key features and the enhancements that we've made. Now, a few more quick questions. Do you work on a lot of documents on a daily basis? Do you work on documents with many variables and conditions? And are you rebuilding the same document over and over again? And if you've answered yes to any of these questions, you are in the right place. Today, I'll be introducing to you some tools that are going to make your life easier. Clio has 3 tools: Grow, and Grow helps you convert more of your business. And with Manage helps you move your cases forward. So what does Laya do? Laya helps you accelerate your legal document work. Today I won't be going over Grow or Manage. I'll be focusing on Laya's key features and enhancements. So I've said it before, Laya makes drafting more simple and efficient by working with multiple cart forms and Word templates. So how does it do that? Let me walk you through some of its key features. In Laya, it has a library filled with forms and templates. It also has its own dedicated Microsoft Word add-in template builder and dedicated workflows that make the drafting process consistent across all of your document population. Now, I'm sure you've seen some of these tools and variations before, but I'm going to show you how Laya does it that much better. So let's look into these features a little bit more closely. And I'm sure it's pretty common that you have some templates saved in one location, some forms saved in another. What Laya allows you to do is save all of those templates in one place. So it makes it easier to find all your templates and forms and populate them in one smooth workflow. I won't go into templates right now, and I'll talk about our template builder, so a little bit more on that a little bit shortly. With our court forms, you'll have access to up-to-date court forms across all 50 states. You won't have to hunt for the newest version of that court form. Leave that to Clio and Laya to make sure that you have access to the most up-to-date form. Form templates. So with those court forms, you're able to pre-populate and pre-select some of those fields or put any legalese in those fields that are not matter-specific and save them as dedicated form templates. For example, if you're filing for a divorce, you can pre-select marriage and then save that as one template. And if you're then doing different cases for a legal separation, you can pre-select those boxes and save it as a different template. So you're not having to manually click those again. Next, we have document sets. This is the feature, and if you are a Laya user, what we've been hearing that our customers love the most. This is where you can pick and choose any combination of forms and templates, organize it in any order that you need to submit it, and draft the process together. So if you have a particular letter or memo you want at the top, different forms, and even if you accidentally added the forms, you can easily drag and drop and reorder them pretty instantly. And then once you have those document sets, you can save them and then they'll appear in your library so that you can just go to the actions, draft matters, and it'll auto-populate any of your client matter information that has been synced. And this is going to reduce the repetition of manually having to fill out those forms individually. Next, we have the word add-in. The word add-in allows you to basically take word templates and with a select and click, build these word templates out pretty easily that allows you to then populate the matter information. So how many of you have thought to yourself, wow, I should have made this document into a template so I don't have to rebuild it over and over and over again? Well, what stopped you? Was it because of the upfront effort of making that template? Or was it for the fact that you didn't know how to get started and how to use that template builder? Well, with this, it makes it very simple and easy. You just need to select the text, and then in the Word Template Builder, click the associated custom field, and voila, it'll build that template for you right there, and then it gets saved back into the library for repetitive use moving forward. Now, the last key feature that I'm going to talk to you about is workflows. If you are a Clio managed user, as well as you have your Lawya account, you can link them. So anytime you've updated your matter information, it'll automatically update in Lawya. So then by going into the Documents tab, you can actually launch that workflow from Manage, complete your document population process, and then easily save them back into Manage within the same workflow. So before I jump into what was new this year, I'm going to do a quick recap. With Lawya, you can build personalized libraries and forms and templates. You can create work templates with ease, and you can draft multiple documents at the same time. Our customers have seen some great results. They've mentioned back to us that they have been able to file cases with a lot less work, and it's taken them less time having to search for the right form to complete and to make sure that that form is up to date. So I've spoken a lot, and I'll quickly go through our what's new. Now, our Lawya users have said that they love the workflow, but sometimes they felt lost, or you felt lost. So what do? We added more context. So what does that mean? Right now, what you can see in our latest enhancements is we made it clear and simple what document set you are populating. And right down below, you can see what matter it's associated to, so what information you're populating that document. And in that document set, if that set was 3 forms, you'll see exactly which forms are part of that document set, and if you click into it, you'll get a preview. We also got feedback from all of you that you've heard that this process felt long. So we wanted to make a few changes, and we added additional progress indicators. So now you can clearly see how much further you have to go, how much more data or you need to fill into those fields. And then once it's done, you'll clearly see when it's completed. So you don't have to go back at the top of the form and review each field to make sure that you have information in there. And lastly, we heard from you. You wanted to know where those fields that you're populating belong. So we added more document references. Now, each of the fields, if you hover over, can show you exactly how many instances those fields live in those documents and how many documents there are that they appear in. And then in the interface on the navigation, you can even click into those documents and again, preview where those fields belong. Now, I know that's a lot of information for those who aren't too familiar with Lawya, and I hope I've piqued your interest. So if you do want to deep dive and get to know Lawya a little bit more, please join Corey tomorrow at 1:15 for a Lawya Power Hour, and it'll dive into how you can optimize document automation for your firm and go into a little bit more hands-on implementation. And if you are a current Lawya user, questionnaires are coming. So if you want to join the waitlist, come find me in the product lab and I can help get you signed up to be on that wait list. And now, thank you very much for your time. Up next is Alina, and Alina's going to talk to you about what's up with what are the new exciting updates with the mobile app, and how these new releases can help you and your clients on the go.
Hello. Oh, the caffeine's kicking in. Okay. Thank you, Elida, for the introduction, and thank you, Rob, for the earlier introduction. I am a senior customer success manager. So like Rob mentioned, success is our middle name, and I get the pleasure of working with our mid-sized firms. So I see firsthand how they use Clio, I see their workflows, and how we've been improving their efficiencies. And that is what I'm hoping we can talk about today. Elida already gave it away. I am talking about the mobile app, so I will go to the next question. I'm sure you can see where I'm headed. I'd love to start off. Who here has their mobile phone on them right now? If there's anyone who didn't raise their hand, I'm honestly impressed. I will say I think it's fairly safe to say that most of us live off of our phones. So again, like I said, I'm thrilled that these are the amazing updates that I get to share with you today. And by the way, you all do have access to the mobile app. I'm confident these updates will all give you that accessibility, the efficiency that your firms require, and will streamline your processes. So I'm going to walk you through a day in the life of our attorney here, Sean. He's our criminal defense attorney. He's always on the go. He often splits his time between trials, visiting clients, his office, his home office. And I want to see what a work week might look like for him and how the new mobile app features can help lighten some of that load for him. So we'll start with Monday. Monday, he is off visiting a new potential client at the prison. So he's doing a consultation, and with any consultation, he needs to gather some of that basic information and some of those case details from the client. Typically, he takes a pad of paper, a pen, and jots down some of that critical information. So he'll take, like I said, basic information, the case details, and then when he has time later on in that evening, if he's lucky, he'll go back into Clio, create that matter, and then hopefully from there has everything he needs. However, oftentimes that's not the case. He's too busy, he doesn't get that chance. So wouldn't it be great if when he's with that client or directly after, while things are still fresh in his mind, he gets that chance to input and make that matter right away? So now you can. We've introduced the ability to create a matter and the contact straight from the mobile app. As you can see, it's as simple as that plus icon, which we call the global create new button, and filling out all those pertinent details. You'll have the ability to choose an existing contact or create a brand new one with all the same required fields you see on the Clio web version. And just like that, Sean can ditch that paper and pen and create a matter as he receives that information. And now that's one less thing he has to worry about at the end of his day. Next is Tuesday. That is trial day for Sean. He's on his way to represent one of his clients, and on the way gets a call from one of his other clients asking for some more details around one of his invoices before making a payment. So now normally Sean would probably ask them to give a call back when he's by his computer and can answer those questions, or we'll ask them to send an email with all those details. This often does lead to frustration from the client's end and, of course, a delay in getting paid, and nobody wants that. So with our new enhancements, Sean can quickly access the client's bills straight from the mobile app. As soon as he gets to the courthouse, he pulls up that invoice, gets the details, and can even access that invoice PDF. He can choose to send that PDF to his client or simply answer the burning question. So once again, having the mobile app and having that ability will give Sean the ability to not think about this later on in the day and creates a better client experience. Wednesday. So Wednesday, he's back at court again. And as his trial is wrapping up, which he wins, his mother, not his mother, but his client's mother comes to him and says, "You know what, you did a good job, I'm gonna pay you right now." While Sean may not normally accept a payment in this situation, he now will have the ability to use Clio's new tap to pay feature on his iPhone. So all he has to do is select new payment. So this is right from the invoice. He selects new payment, and can tap whichever credit card to make that payment. So this now gives Sean the freedom to accept credit card and debit card payments from anywhere. This will be coming fairly soon, so keep your eyes peeled, and it will be available for both iOS and Android users. Next, we're on to Thursday. Thursday, Sean decides it's a day to work from home. He's been on the road, he has no more client meetings, and quite frankly, he's kind of tired. So all is well until his paralegal calls him frantically looking for a police report that contains some important information required to fulfill some documents that they need to submit to the court. So Sean realizes he has those papers with him and he needs a way to share that securely with his paralegal. So normally what he may have done is taken photos of those documents, attach them to his email, send it to the paralegal downloads them, and then uploads them to Clio. Not super fun. Instead, Sean can use Clio's new built-in mobile app scanner to digitize his papers. From the Global Create New button, he can choose to upload a document and use the scanner feature to capture all the pages he has on hand. Once he's done scanning them, he can now rename the document, and it's easy access for his paralegal. Sean's paralegal will have everything they need in a matter of moments, and of course, securely. Oh, it's playing the animation. I'll give it a second. So yeah, scanning those documents. We see that police report. And you can take multiple photos, and then it makes it one document for you. They rename it. Sorry, it would have been nice if they did that while I was talking. Okay, we're almost there. Perfect, and they're saving it. Great. Next, Sean realizes that he also needs some evidence that he's left at the office. So now the tables have turned. So he calls his paralegal to scan the documents, and of course they can use a scanner that's at the office, but that's antiquated and nobody wants to do that. So of course, now the paralegal can choose to use our new scan documents on mobile. So all they need to do is go to the Documents tab, choose that Scan Documents on Mobile, and once again, I did the same thing, so we'll just let that play out. You can see, yeah, they're scanning those documents, and then they'll get a prompt on their phone. And what they will do is once that scan happens and it's completed, it will automatically save to the correct folder. So all said and done, Sean and his paralegal now have everything they need to work on their cases without having to compromise any potential privacy issues. Lastly, on Friday, Sean is tired. He takes a day off, and that happens to coincide with the end of my mobile app enhancements. If you would like to learn more about the features we discussed, or sorry, I should say if you don't even have the mobile app, use that QR code right there, and you can download it today. Or you can also search it in our mobile app store, as it is available for both Android and iOS users. So again, if you do want to learn more and you want a more in-depth look at the various features that in the mobile app, or even a refresher on what I covered with you today, please join Jason Myers, our Senior Product Manager, tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. on the Clio stage for his session on how to make the most of the Clio mobile app. And as with any of the new features that any of us have spoken about, you can go to our product lab and speak to them directly and pick their brains on anything you want. So I said a mouthful. I know it's hard to imagine anything more thrilling than what I covered with you just now, but hang in there, we're in the home stretch. I'm gonna pass it over to payments. So you guys, I know you all wanna get paid, so please help me in welcoming Lillian to the stage.
Thank you, Alina. Hello, everyone. My name is Lillian. I'm a staff product manager at Clio. I came from the background from product management in fintech, payments, finance, and healthcare industries. My current focus at Clio revolves in addressing customer needs to enhance financial processes and workflows for legal professionals. This is my first ClioCon, and I'm super excited to have the opportunity here to connect with you. So today, I'm going to take you through some exciting new features that are set to redefine your payments and reports experiences with Clio. In the last session, we followed Sean's journey and admired all the hard work he put in. At the end of the day, the most important part is for Sean to get paid. So here I'm going to show you how Clio Payments can optimize your payment collection process, offering enhanced convenience and accessibility while ensuring you stay compliant and efficient. So let's dive in. So let's kick things off with digital wallets. Can I see a show of hands? How many of you have used digital wallets? Oh, there's a lot of you, so you guys are pro then. So just picture this. All your payment methods, whether it's cash, debit, or credit card, all stored securely on your smartphone, laptop, or even your watch. That's the magic of digital wallets. So now imagine a scene. You're out with friends, having a nice dinner at a restaurant. The bill arrives, and your pals started rummaging through their wallets and purses, fumbling with cards to pay. Meanwhile, you simply whip out your phone, tap, et voila. You've just settled your part with absolute ease. It's like having a secret path to seamless payments. Cool, right? So now you might be curious how digital wallets can benefit a law firm specifically. The answer is simple. They supercharge your payment collection process, making it faster and easier. With digital wallets, your clients enjoy the convenience of paying bills seamlessly, resulting in faster and more frequent payments. Furthermore, the modern payment options like Apple Pay and Google Pay have become mainstream, offering you the edge to attract and broaden your client base, ultimately help to grow your business. So how you might take advantage of digital wallets? I'm excited to tell you that digital wallets are now enabled on all our online and mobile payment pages for operating, trust payments, and refunds. In addition, it's integrated into simple and smart payment links, tap to pay, and QR codes. Speaking of which, this is a perfect segue to our next topic. So QR codes have become part of our daily lives, enabling us to access menus, websites, and information with a simple scan. Essentially, a QR code acts as a direct link to a specific URL, directing you to a destination site. This convenience eliminates the need to typing, copying, or pasting URLs. So with the power of Clio Payments, we are taking QR codes to the next level by incorporating them along with payment links into your clients' bills. So why this is important to you? This innovation provides your clients with ability to settle their bill payments directly from their mobile devices or online platforms. So now let's talk about why this matters to you. Just like digital wallets enhance payment convenience, the inclusion of QR codes and the payment links translate into faster and more frequent payments. Furthermore, every transaction is automatically associated with the corresponding bill, ensuring all the payment transactions are entered correctly. So this precision not only significantly reduces payment errors, but also eliminates the need for manual linking of payments to the right client. So this new feature comes automatically enabled within Clio Payments. However, we understand that preferences and your clients' needs may vary. So if you'd rather not include payment link and QR code on client bills, you have the flexibility to simply toggle off the payment link and QR code on bill option when downloading bills. So this setting can apply to either a single bill or a batch of bills you are downloading. is all about customizations to your needs. So I've been talking about how Clio Payments empowers you to get paid faster. Now let's zoom in on a crucial feature that addresses compliance and efficiency: trust refunds. So before I start, can I ask how many of you use trust on a regular basis? There's a lot of you. And if you sometimes have to refund client trust funds, show your hands if you have to do trust refunds. Yes. So for legal professionals, we all know navigating the intricacies of trust funds is a high-stakes endeavor. When dispersing customer trust funds or rectifying accidental errors, this process up until now often involves physical checks, a time-consuming process that's prone to errors and compliance pitfalls, especially when checks were misplaced or issued inaccurately. So trust refunds has been one of our top customer requests. And we heard you, and now I can tell you that it is available to you. So for those who use Clio Payments, you can now refund trust transactions directly to your client's original payment methods right within Clio Payments. So why is this important to you? It streamlines the refund process, keeping your workflow hassle-free. Most importantly, it brings the peace of mind because Clio is making sure you are compliant when moving the trust funds. So here it shows how easy to issue a trust refund in Clio. So upon clicking the refund button, which is available for every trust transaction, a window opens and you can see the client information and the maximum refundable amount. It also tells you who the refund goes to. Simply type in the refund amount, and Clio makes sure that refunded amount cannot exceed the original amount for the trust request, so you won't accidentally make a mistake by moving more funds than you should. So once the refund transaction is processed, both you and your client will receive a confirmation email. This way, you both have a record of the refund transaction. All right, so is everyone still with me? I know it's been a long day and you're getting tired. Can we hang in here for a little longer? I'm going to just take the next 2 hours to talk about reports. I'm just kidding. We're almost done here, I promise. But I do want to share with you a couple of amazing new tools that are set to optimize your reports. So when we think about reports, we're talking about data. A report is a window into specific insights, a source of information that guides the decisions and actions through the lens of data. So we've all been in a situation where we stare at a report, grappling with a large amount of data and trying to make sense of it. So now imagine having the power to handpick what data you want to see and present it just the way you like it. Introduce the hide-unhide columns feature. This feature allows you to cherry-pick, rearrange, or even conceal the columns as you generate reports, granting you the total control of your own data. So when you generate a report, you will see a new column selection tool where you can check, uncheck columns you want to include or hide from your report. Or you can simply drag and drop between active and hidden columns and move them up and down to rearrange your columns order. And your settings can be saved to your presets and automatically applied for future reports. The hide-unhide columns feature offers a range of benefits. It places the spotlight on the data that truly matters to you, allowing you to stay away from unnecessary distractions and zero in on what truly matters. This focus on pertinent information translates into quicker, more informed decision-making and swifter business actions, and you will be freed from laborious tasks of manually tweaking reports. So the next report that I will introduce is the new billing rate report. So this report is designed to help you gain visibilities into areas that bring in the most revenue. It provides a list of all client and matter billing rates and to help you identify which client, staff, or practice areas that bring in the most revenue, and thus to provide the insights into the accuracy and effectiveness of your firm's billing rate. The billing rate report lives in the matter category of the report section. And in the report configuration, you will see a new filter called rate type, which allows you to hone in on what types of billing rate you want to see. And the generated report contains a list of users, matters, and practice area and their respective billing rates. Essentially, you can use this report to understand what each area contributes to your firm's revenue, and this can be a powerful tool to help you assess your firm's financial performance. And with that, we just wrapped the new features that I want to share with you. I hope these insights will help you unlock the full potential of Clio and to enhance your productivity. While I've provided a glimpse into these enhancements today, there's so much more to explore. So tomorrow we have another workshop called Optimize Your Payment Workflows with Clio, which will go in depth on implementing seamless end-to-end billing and payment collection process. So I highly encourage you to join us there and take advantage of this opportunity to refine your billing and payment process. Thank you for listening to me today. I will now hand it back to Robert for some closing remarks.
Hello again, everyone. And you know what? Let's have another round of applause for my teammates. They did a fantastic job today. And as for me, well, I got the easy part. But you know what? Speaking of easy, earlier on this afternoon, we had a poll about how you most often heard about Clio's latest features. We could have added a fifth option to that poll, and that would have been, well, Rob, I'm always the last to know. But we have a solution for that. So please take a moment to scan this QR code, and that's going to take you to a landing page on our website called What's New? And this is available to you 24/7. Whenever you want to check out the latest features of Clio, you can just go to your bookmarks, check out that page, and see what's going on. Maybe book a time in your calendar, maybe every second Friday, sit down with some coffee and see what's new, and then boast about your knowledge to your coworkers. All right. Now, before we get to the grand finale, let's do a little review of today's highlights. So we touched upon Clio Grow with local service ads and automated workflows. Then Matter Organization with stages, templates, contact updates, permissions, oh my. Then we had Advanced Document Automation covering key features of LAYA, progress indicators. Then we had the mobile app with tap to pay and, my favorite feature, the mobile scanner, but don't let me influence you. And then we touched upon payments and reports covering digital wallets and billing rates reports. And now we want to know what your top 3 favorite features are today. And why? Well, we're curious Clions. So please take a moment to scan this code once again. Has everyone had a chance? Okay, so we can go have a look at our live results. And while everyone takes a moment to go through all of that, you know, I think it's fantastic that we've got visitors here today from almost every US state. And speaking of states, what do you get when you make a big pile of dentures? A Massachusetts. Is anyone from Boston here? Was that okay? All right. Okay, so let's have a look at our results here. And the results are in small print, but you legal professionals aren't afraid of small print, are you? All right, so it looks like far and above, we've got matter, stages, and templates. That's fantastic. Followed closely behind by. We've got automated workflows that's coming in. I love this live stuff. And it looks like mobile scanner. Yes, I didn't influence you, did I? No, that's all right. Okay, so there we have it. The room has spoken. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking your time to spend your time with us today to learn about Clio's latest features. Thank you very much and have an excellent ClioCon.